We call it living within our means. We all have to do it. And unfortunately, Jim Chalmers doesn't know what those words mean. Let's go to those comments from the Multicultural Affairs Minister, Anne Aly, who has a background out of Egypt. She's a Muslim, of course. She had a crack at Scott Morrison after he gave what I would regard as a very level-headed speech calling for reform within Islamic institutions in Australia. Have a listen.
I think it's incredibly irresponsible. And I also think it's incredibly disappointing because it draws on historical stereotypes and a historical trope that continually puts the blame and responsibility and the burden on Muslim communities to take advantage of something like the Bondi attacks to sow seeds of discourse is absolutely abhorrent and should be rejected.
I tell you what, Gab Powell, I don't think there's anything historical about radical Islam. It was there in front of us in Australia, allegedly. I'll say allegedly because one of them before the courts in December. That's not historical to me.
No. What's the argument here not to push for strong standards? Because that's what Scott Morrison was arguing for Muslim leaders to push for strong standards, to call out radical Islam. He made the point that these two alleged terrorists were allegedly radicalised in Sydney. This happened in Sydney, and there is a genuine concern that is very much still here, that there are others that are radicalised that may have slipped through the cracks. And so I commend Scott Morrison for showing leadership, and we need to speak frankly about this issue. It's a real threat to parts of the West, radical Islam. And I think what Scott Morrison was putting forward was very reasonable. He was talking about licensing preachers and setting up a board to police radicals. I mean, I don't know what's wrong with that at all.
I have made this point many times, Karalee, and I'll end on this point. In the media, we have a responsibility to call it as we see it. And if it, in my case, it's the Catholic Church, I have written on, I've spoken out, not in my name. I want the church to reform where I think it needs to reform. And I think it's incumbent on all the public celebrity-type Muslims, or in this case, a parliamentary Muslim, to get into this space, to demand there is change, not in my name, not in the name of Islam. If it is a religion of peace, as they want to keep telling us over and over again, not to have this happen on their watch amongst their tribe. And I think this is where she is absolutely letting down not just her people, but her country.
And look, can I also say, Dr. Anne Aly, she is now Multicultural Affairs Minister. Before she entered Parliament, she was Dr. Anne Aly. She still is Dr. Anne Aly. She was a counter-terrorism expert specialising in the de-radicalisation of youth. People can go and Google it. So you know what? She's now got her platform. What is she prepared to put forward? Because you can't deny that there are Australian-born people who are being radicalised, whether it's online, whether it's with lay preachers within the Muslim community. And there is a difference between radical Islam and Islam. But when you have the Prime Minister who can't actually say the word radical Islam under any circumstances, that is the problem. And I would imagine that Anne Aly would like to protect her cabinet position and will just fall in line the same as all of them. This is her opportunity. And Anthony Albanese, if you didn't know that, you've got Anne Aly right there. Give her the platform to actually put forward some changes. I note that no one has actually brought that up. It is widely known in Western Australia. And as I said, she's a counter-terrorism de-radicalisation expert. So Anne Aly, put something forward, because whether you like it or not, Scott Morrison has made some valid points, a couple of them a little bit clumsy, but this is your platform now. You are the minister. You can actually make a change for the good of Australia that you always say you want to.
I might add, we've got 230 plus confirmed by our intelligence experts in Australia in those de-radicalised programs. I'll also make a secondary point before I move on. Right around the world, there are plenty of reports, expert reports, to say those programs don't work. But anyway, we'll leave that there. Thank you to you both.